Life is only going to get harder for us as we get older, as the inevitable and organic demand for independence and self-reliance looms ever so closer to our vicinity of existence. When we were children, almost everything is taken care of for us by our parents when it comes to our survival. The only thing that we have to worry about is what we want or don't want to do. Playing with our toys, video games, watching cartoons, eating treats, shouting, running around, laughing, etc. As we grow up, however, our very own survival will slowly transition and eventually become our very own responsibility and burden to bear in order to get our lives together. We can no longer only worry about what we want to do or don't want to do, but we have to put more focus and emphasis on what we can do, what we need to do, and what we have to do, regardless of whether we like it or not. So we have to learn and adopt all the necessary survival skills in order to keep ourselves and our living space in good condition. And absolutely all of the time, we would have no choice but to learn and adopt them for our own sake. As time passes, the people around us whom we initially thought would stay around forever will start to fade away slowly. Our parents will gradually get older, frailer, and eventually pass away. Our friends will eventually have their own lives to worry about and their own family to take care of, so they can't allocate most of their time and effort just into having a laugh with us like in high school. So we'll have to learn how to deal with the lack of company and assistance as seamlessly and as effectively as possible. The importance of making the right or optimal decisions and taking the right or optimal actions when it comes to our profession, finance, relationship, lifestyle, and future plans will constantly alert us or even haunt us in our day-to-day existence. In an ideal world, we like to get all of these important components of life absolutely right the first time around. But let's be real, shall we? It's going to take 99% of us many, many years or even decades to get every single one of these necessary life elements in order. Especially when we aren't properly taught about them early on in our lives and have to learn about them the hard way, especially when it comes to how critically they can either enhance or decimate our lives even further depending on the decisions we'll make. We will spend the bulk of our adult lives thinking, learning, building, and taking care of these 5 important and necessary components, mostly alone. And what it will personally take to effectively grow and manage all of them and deal with all the other things surrounding them that can significantly impact them is what's going to break most people, both physically and mentally or even spiritually. Especially when most of these components, or worse, every component goes south on them, which is extremely common or very likely to happen or even bound to happen at the start or very early stage of our adult lives. Being jobless, broke, alone, unhealthy, uninteresting, and completely aimless. That is why it is absolutely necessary for us to have the initiative, the ambition, the resilience, the patience, and the intelligence in order to adjust ourselves accordingly, so that we can effectively take the authoritative ownership of our lives and adapt to our circumstances, especially when they are being insufferably inconvenient, unfortunate, and catastrophic to us. And they absolutely will, one day or another, throw endless shit at you. That is why it is crucial for all of us to adopt the right mental narrative so that we can properly combat all the enigmatic discouragement from all of our life's unfairness and misfortunes. To find the right mentors to assist us in learning and dealing with many other different and important things in life, regardless if they are life mentors or distant mentors. To learn how to manage our own expectations and deal with or ignore other people's ever-growing and endless expectations so that we can definitively determine what really matters to us and what doesn't. To understand that all the mistakes and failures that we encounter are merely roadblocks for us to learn how to chip away at and not a bottomless pit where we can never climb back out of. To muster up the courage to wholeheartedly, unembarrassingly, and unapologetically admit our burning desires and take action to ruthlessly go after what we want. And to finally realize that the majority of the best feelings and circumstances in life that we want awaits at the end of a great personal test or challenge. And sometimes those tests or challenge don't always involve learning or overcoming or persevering or acquiring. It can also involve simply letting go of what is and who is not good for you or no longer good for you. Life is about suffering, and it is about suffering because life requires us to fight to stay in it and flourish in it. And every day of our lives consists of many battles for survival and prosperity. And every battle is determining who is strong enough to survive and eventually deserve to prosper. Even if it is only a battle as small as battling our own loneliness. There is no place for weakness in a power-evolving universe. Those who are weak will either get left behind, crushed under the pressure, or completely ignored and erased into irrelevancy. You must understand that weakness is not a talent nor gift. You aren't born or created to be weak. You are simply taught to be weak. We all have the ability to unlearn what we've been taught. Weakness is a choice to concede making any possible efforts to go against all the elements that are trying to overwhelm us. When times are hard, we like to pray or beg for an easier life, or for life to give us some sort of breathing room for us to just worry about nothing. Here is the thing that we must remember, and remember well. Life waits for nobody and spares nobody. If you want to make the most out of your life or live the most out of your life, you better be prepared and willing to fight for it every step of the way. Because it is the only choice you've got if you want to stay alive and eventually live. How do you think the person who lives each day like his last can get the most out of that day? By lounging around, feeling sorry for himself and doing nothing? No. He goes after what he wants as much as or even way more than he can do, bear, and handle. Now that is what you'd call strength. That is how you should live life. There are times when everything will go well, and that is the moment where we must cherish and indulge as much as we can out of it. But just like everything, it will not last. Regardless whether the circumstance had exhaustively run its course, or if we desire something new from our lives and different from it, or if natural circumstances take it away from us, it will end eventually. So we must always be vigilant, or at least aware, or have the preconceived notion that this beautiful moment shall eventually pass, and the fight or battle will begin once again, and it will only be over when we're in the ground. Thank you for watching.